We have this reporter that goes by the name of Sabrina that dropped the behind-the-scenes information about Caitlin Clark at this USA basketball training camp. And the way that she's talking, Caitlin Clark made this team, fam. She made this team the way that she's talking.
Just now, someone left the Team USA camp. Not cut, not hurt, simply finished. And you're going to be blown away by the explanation. After Caitlin Clark entered the gym, the whole women's basketball power structure was revealed in less than 48 hours. What transpired next was too much for one player to bear. Do you think?
Yeah, the GOAT. Logo threes are back, y'all. Logo threes are back like they never left. Caitlin Clark doing it to him. Caitlin Clark is on fire. Day 3 of Team USA camp. The girl couldn't miss. It was like throwing a rock in the ocean for Caitlin Clark. Day 3 of Team USA camp. The best player in the gym. Best player.
You think you know what happened. You don't. Because what the cameras failed to capture is far more significant than what they did. By the time this is over, you'll know why someone had to depart before being totally erased. Let's discuss what actually transpired during Team USA basketball camp behind closed doors since, according to several accounts, Caitlin Clark.
Your future. And we wrote about that on the site, just like how people have been perceiving the negotiations and what still affects them and what they're thinking about with regards to the new collective bargaining agreement. But for now, just good time at camp, 3 days in North Carolina, a little snow on one of the days, just a little taste of the winter in the South. But
right.
ARC did more than merely take part. The hierarchy that everyone believed to exist just vanished as a result of her total dominance. And one person became aware of their unexpected invisibility. This is how it began. Camp for Team USA was meant to operate normally. Young players demonstrating their abilities, veterans receiving their reps, synergy developing, and other typical things. Then Caitlin enters. There's no pomp, no announcements. Just turn up, and the whole atmosphere instantly changes. The intensity of each drill abruptly changes. Every item feels.
Bigs didn't know what to do with her passes. Like there was one time where she passed it to Hamby and Hamby brought the ball down. It's like, you can't do that. Like this is not, you have to keep it up, right?
Straight up, right.
Just like not expecting, where that was coming. But FIBA, naturally, just a lot more physical than other levels of basketball, even more physical than the WNBA, which is, something to be said considering all the conversations we had about that level of physicality during this 2025 season. So having to see Caitlin go at scouting players who were, instructed to play at a FIBA level of physicality was interesting considering how long she's been out and the fact that she's still ramping up injury wise, but she looked good. She was just so happy to be there and was individually telling media members how nice it was just talk to them again and that she was just part of the basketball process, even if that includes all of these other responsibilities.
Feels more substantial. Coaches begin to bend forward. Players begin to observe more intently. It wasn't hype. Gravity was this. You don't have to make an announcement when someone performs at a new level. Everyone simply senses it. This is when things start to get interesting. Sabrina, a reporter, provided some crucial information regarding what transpired. According to her description, Caitlin didn't simply join the team. Rather, she entered and demonstrated that everyone else was playing a different game. When Paige Bueckers arrived, she saw something right away. When Caitlin ran point, the tempo shifted. The spacing became more rigid. The ball shifted.
And just fun to see the players in a live game situation again, because you think about Caitlin hasn't played since July 15th,
Yes.
There are 4 sparks of this camp. Their season ended on September 11th, right? So it's been a long time since any of them have really played competitive basketball. You saw some situations where Caitlin's stuck guarding Kelsey and Kelsey's, knocking her off the ball and Caitlin gets called for a foul and she starts yelling at the refs she's grabbing me, and all of the coaches from WNBA teams who are sitting there watching are just cracking up. Kelsey had one situation where she sort of finished through traffic. She'd been struggling a little bit, got through to the hoop, just yells right in Becky Hammon and Nikki Fargas's face. And
2 things that you wrote about, just Caitlin Clark being back on the court. You also got a quote out of Sue Bird about her being impressed with Caitlin just being engaged while she was out and getting back to being able to play. A little bit about what Caitlin looked like on the court, how much fun she was having, how important it was. And then Someone else, Angel Reese on the other side, talking about Chicago. That was the article I was not expecting.
Yeah, so we'll start with Caitlin. Obviously, she suffered just a bevy of injuries in her sophomore season, played her last game on July 15th, even before All-Star weekend. This was her first real 5-on-5 action since that injury with the fever. And it was a combination of like USA players going against USA players and then also USA players going against the scout team, which was just like players from small colleges all across North Carolina sort of helping out with that scout team practice.
As if it were magnetic. Players at various positions. Coaches began making notes. As a top competitor, Paige was aware of what was going on. This was no ordinary gifted guard. This person was functioning at a whole different frequency, and astute players adjusted. Instead of fighting it, they cooperate with it. However, there are Angel Reese and Angel.
It appears that Caitlin Clark is truly back healthy. The three-point shot is back. The logo threes are back. And what I really liked about that second one is that was going right. A lot of Caitlin Clark's threes are coming on a snatch back, going backwards or to the left, or her going left. You know, she liked to go left to shoot her three. So the fact that even though it was a catch and shoot, she was still going on the right side and she caught it and knocked it down. That's a good sign.
Felt a very other emotion. At first, there was something worse than fury. Irrelevant. Because Angel was fading while Caitlin was dictating flow and managing tempo. It wasn't that she couldn't play, but more that the beat had left her. The ball did not return. Her game was not favored by the readings. She was simply overtaken by the momentum. Caitlin Clark was the focal point of every meeting, breakdown, and side discussion. Impact causes gravity, not because she insisted on it. And Angel saw. It was seen as it developed. She was on the floor performing the same drills and playing the same minutes, but the game was no longer centered around her, which caused her to feel frustrated and confused. Do you believe that Angel Reese's ego got in the way? Or was Caitlin really that superior? The scrimmage followed. Pure basketball and dignity on the line. No cameras, no spectators. Point was run by Caitlin. The floor was neatly spaced by Paige. The ball moved as though it were attached to a string. Everything is clicking. Surgical accuracy. Angel attempted to impose her presence in the interim. Playing physically, making more touch, feeling intense, and attempting to bring about a change. However, the game remained rigid. It moved more quickly, intelligently, and neatly. Angel was eliminated possession by possession. Nor withdrawn, nor benched, just eliminated by tempo. She was unable to keep up with the game's rapid pace. And that's when it dawned on me. This was no longer a contest. This was the real-time establishment of a hierarchy. Caitlin wasn't demonstrating her acceptance. She was demonstrating how the system as a whole functioned more effectively. Coaches spoke to one another in whispers. The assistants made thorough notes. Players looked at each other. Angel witnessed everything. She had literally missed the game in that gym. Let's now discuss the technological aspect, as this is where things get even more interesting. Caitlin looked precisely like Caitlin, the reporter said. It was automatic to take 3 steps back. The court's perspective was absurd. The passes were absurd. Here's the worst part though. Some of the bigs were unsure of how to handle her passes when she wasn't playing alongside Aaliyah Boston. In one play, she passed the ball to Dirkika Hamby, who then brought it down. Huge error. That is not possible with Caitlin's passes. Her passes are not only accurate, but they are also precisely positioned where you need the ball to score, so you have to keep going and finish right away. That's what separates a skilled facilitator from a competent passer. Caitlin places the ball precisely where you may score, rather than merely passing it to you. You'll look awful if you're not prepared for that degree of accuracy. Additionally, a few players weren't prepared for this camp. Additionally, the writer noted that FIA basketball is significantly more physically demanding than WNBA basketball. It was eye-opening to watch Caitlin confront scout team members who were expected to play at FIA-level physicality because she refused to back down. She was not afraid to make contact. She accepted it and continued to rule. That reveals every aspect of her mindset. Physicality doesn't scare her. The large stage doesn't scare her. She is prepared for any eventuality. However, this is the point at which the narrative drastically changes. There was silence on the final day of camp. Too quiet. The drills have sharp edges. The execution was brutal. Caitlin called acts, directed traffic, and completed plays with the dexterity of a 10-year veteran. Total authority. Angel, meanwhile, hardly made contact with the ball. By truth, not by punishment. Caitlin was enjoying the game. And everyone had already made up their minds before the last whistle blew. At that point, Angel left. Not yelling, not storming, simply finished. She didn't wait for the announcements. She didn't hold out for meetings. She simply moved away. And everyone in the gym froze. Coaches looked at each other. Since everyone knew what had just happened, players avoided making eye contact. There were multiple players who left camp early. This revealed a hierarchy. This was a person realizing they weren't who they believed themselves to be. Let's now discuss everyone's thoughts. Angel Ree has stated unequivocally that she no longer wants to fly over Chicago. She has made it clear that she believes the team lacks a winning culture. She desires to leave. And after this Team USA camp, it's becoming quite evident why she finds it difficult to be the center of attention. Because everyone was circling Caitlin, the sun, at this camp, and Angel was unable to cope. Here's the harsh reality though. It has nothing to do with ego. This had to do with deciding who is genuinely superior. Caitlin was chosen by the game because she was the best player on the court, not because she insisted on it. There is nothing anyone can do when that occurs. You have two options, either accept reality and cooperate with the system or leave. And Angel made the decision to leave. Take a moment to consider that. Rather than acknowledge that someone else was superior, she decided to walk away. That's crazy. Since this revealed something far more significant than a single player quitting camp, let's now discuss the ramifications. Because domination alters everything, the same league that once disregarded Caitlin, benched her, and questioned her ability to play at this level is now rushing to publish her highlights, promote her footage, and entirely rewrite the story. And at this time, Caitlin's domination is indisputable. Caitlin is thinking 10 steps ahead, according to the reporter. She is organizing rather than merely facilitating. Her level of control over the game is beyond the comprehension of most players. And that's what sets the legendary apart from the excellent. She is in charge of the game rather than merely playing it. And the whole dynamic changes when you have someone like that on your squad. Everything moves in a unique way. Here's what makes this tale even more bizarre though. Caitlin remained silent. She remained silent. She didn't confront anyone. She didn't produce garbage. Her game spoke for her while she was playing, making a strong statement. You are free to doubt her. You can postpone her. You may attempt to minimize her. However, you are powerless to halt her influence. And that's precisely what took place at this camp. To her credit, Paige Bueckers understood the circumstances and made adjustments. She played inside the system after realizing what was going on. She divided the floor. She read correctly. She realized that you had to adapt when you have someone like Caitlin as your running point. You cooperate with it rather than fighting it. Because she understands, Paige will flourish playing alongside Caitlin. She is familiar with team basketball. However, Angel Ree experienced a very different emotion. Initially, there was something worse than fury. Irrelevant. Because Angel was fading while Caitlin was dictating flow and managing tempo. It wasn't that she couldn't play, rather, it was that the rhythm had left her. The ball did not return. Her game was not favored by the readings. She was simply overtaken by the momentum. Caitlin Clark was the focal point of every meeting, breakdown, and side discussion. Impact causes gravity, not because she insisted on it. An Angel saw. It was visible as it grew. She was on the floor performing the same drills and playing the same minutes, but the game was no longer centered around her, which caused her to feel frustrated and confused. Do you believe that Angel Reese's conceit got in the way? Or was Caitlin simply superior? The scrimmage followed. There are no spectators or cameras, just basketball and dignity at stake. Caitlin made a point run. The floor was neatly spaced by Paige. The ball had a string-like motion. Everything is clicking. Surgical accuracy. Angel attempted to impose her presence in the interim. Playing physically, making more touch, feeling intense, and attempting to bring about a change. However, the game remained rigid. It moved more quickly, intelligently, and neatly. Angel was eliminated possession by possession. Nor withdrawn, nor benched, just eliminated by tempo. She was unable to keep up with the game's rapid pace. And that's when it dawned on me. This was no longer a contest. This was the real-time establishment of a hierarchy. Caitlin wasn't demonstrating her acceptance. She was demonstrating how the system as a whole functioned more effectively. Coaches spoke to one another in whispers. The assistants made thorough notes. Players looked at each other. An Angel witnessed everything. She had literally missed the game in that gym. Let's now discuss the technological aspect, as this is where things get even more interesting. Caitlin looked precisely like Caitlin, the reporter said. It was automatic to take 3 steps back. The